Does mouse mean mouse in some other language, or is it stands for something else? Oh, that's a good question. What is the word for mouse in German? We need to know. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the Swedish Zerg player representing Team Roddy. It is Fjant. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Oh my. Okay, we're good. I was very interested here in the movements of Fjant, but we do have a hatch first from both of our players. I was like, where is that drone going? But it does come back to the natural base, thankfully. Hatch first from both of our players, so nothing too crazy. Again, earlier we did see Fjant cheese out Skillus. So my eyes are really on him. Obviously, Solar's coming in as the clear favorite. Fjant is still an up-and-comer in the scene. He's still a very young player, looking to make a name for himself. Always happy to see these fresh faces, or fresher faces, in the StarCraft community. So this is really a good chance for him to really show off and showcase himself a little bit more. For now, just hatch gas spool from both players. Nothing too crazy. Everything's looking standard. Everything is looking normal for the most part. The only difference is that Solar actually prioritized gas mining. He pulled into gas straight away instead of like slowly rallying into the gas geysers. So he's gonna have slightly fast link speed. As a result, potentially slightly faster bailings, but only by a couple of seconds. Don't know if it's going to be the biggest of differences. As Fjant is just going to be scouting across the map, confirming that it was a hatch first opener from Solar as well. Likewise, Solar is doing the same. From here, we're getting into our regular game. Both players should be working on their third bases. There we go, third base is on the way for Solar. Likewise, third is on the way for Fjant. No one is going for two-base play. I appreciate it. I don't think two-base play is the best on Ancient Cistern either, just because of how large it is. I mean, I guess you can go two-base Spire and two-base Muta, but again, it's a little bit more difficult to pull off. Meanwhile, bit of an overextension from Fjant. Will lose an Overlord early on. That is going to heavily supply block our Zerg player. Oh, has to wait quite some time to break out of that. Again, he did just leave his Overlord idle a little bit too long. And it does pay for it. Back at home, Bailey Nest are on the way. No one is skipping out on them. And we'll see who is looking to be aggressive. It is going to be Solar. He makes a wave of Lings. His goal here is to break the third, maybe even break his opponent in general. As Lings are going to be zooming across the map. Bailings on the way as well. Now this is going to be spotted by Fjant. He does see the Bailings ahead of time. Oh, can he deny them? Oh! It looks like he will deny at least one. Oof. Doesn't quite get the second. So a good start in the defense here for Fjant. Third base is in a lot of danger. 26 Lings are in production. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of Lings. In production, Fjant's getting supply blocked once again. Does bait out a Bailing though. Does bait out one of those Bailings. There's only one Bailing left. Up, up. Again, good target firing from the Queens. Very good control here out of Fjant. But again, that supply block is hurting him quite a bit. It does keep him at 50 supply. And there we go, the Overlord just now starts. Across the map, now it's going to be Solar's turn to be the defender. It's going to take a little bit here for the Bailings to finally arrive, but the Bailings are here for Fjant. Behind the scenes transitioning, we have a Roach Warren on the way, drones as well. No Roach Warren for Solar. Interesting, he is intentionally staying on Ling Bane, setting up a massive counterattack. Fjant does see it coming ahead of time. It's getting in position. Oh, Solar looking to be very aggressive. I'm worried that Fjant doesn't have enough Banelings. He only has 2. Oh boy. And he has to make them count. First one gets baited out. There's only one left. No! There's only one Baneling left. Roaches are on the way. Fjant cutting corners, trying to race into those roaches. As the other Baneling goes down for free for only a single Ling, and Solar is breaking the third. The Banelings connect. The roaches, they come out, but they get surrounded immediately. Very efficient trades here out of Solar. And he's gonna get the last roach as well. He gets workers. Behind this Solar, he was able to saturate his third base. He's up to 49 workers. He was late when it came to his roach production, but he just killed a wave of roaches. Like, he's fine. And Fjant is going for an all-in. He's not droning. He's not resaturating the third. He's making nothing but lings and roaches. He's going for a +1 carapace all-in, which can be quite effective if only he wasn't, you know, forced into this. If only he wasn't getting into this in a rough position. As a couple more roaches are getting picked off. Looking at the units tab, we have 8 roaches from Fjant against 14 of Solar. GG gets called, and Solar will take game number 1. GG. Oh. Again, a very chaotic game. There were good moments for both players in that game, but again, Fjant, he unfortunately did end up losing control of his third base. Was going all in anyway. I'm pretty sure he had made that decision even before losing workers at his third, but he was just already behind when trying to execute the all in, which is really difficult to pull off. GG, well played. Solar takes the lead in the series, but now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure as well, as Z-Ling is saying in the chat. I don't think Mouse, even though it's all capitalized, I don't think it stands for anything. I think it's just meant to be a little bit more catchy. Like, Mouse Esports is a long name, so they wanted to, like, you know, shorten it, make it more appealing to the Zoomers, all that good stuff. Yeah. And here we go. We are getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Swedish Zerg player representing Team Roddy. It is Fjant. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Boy, and when it came to the early Ling Bane wars that we had between Fjant and Solar, as Solar did throw it down a little bit off center. Not the best start from our Korean Zerg player. But I was about to say that it did feel like Fjant had the overall better Ling Bane control, at least initially. Like, he was able to overcome and overpower Solar. But there were a couple of little mistakes here and there. The supply blocks were really hurting Fjant. The supply blocks, also, of course, his eventual transition into roaches, trying to cut corners, preserve his gas, and only spend it on roaches and not have any additional defensive banelings, did turn around and did hurt him in the end. We'll see how he bounces back in game 2. Or if he can bounce back in game 2. For now, hatch gas pool, standard stuff here between our players. No 13-12, no 12 pools. No 14-14s. Everything is looking as it should. Likewise, we should be seeing a third base being taken as well. I would be very surprised if either one of these players attempted to go for a 2-base roach or 2-base play. Especially on a map like Gresfan. The entryway to the natural is very large. It's very wide. It is difficult to pull that off. The Overlord has arrived. He's just going to be scouting his opponent, just confirming what's happening. And this time, Fjant, he checks, he confirms the hatch first, and he pulls back with his Overlord. He will not lose it needlessly this time. Feels good, man. Have a little bit of a Ling battle. God, Ling battle here in the center of the map. Fjant does come out worse for wear, does lose one of his Lings. And Solar keeps both of his alive. Outside of that, though, you know, we're just getting our third bases up and running. For both players, we have Baneliness on the way as well. No one is cutting any corners. Really, my eyes are glued to the production tab. Who is going to be the aggressor, if any? We saw Solar was the first to take the bite, or take the bait, sorry, in the last game, and he's doing it again. 12 Lings are in production. Solar is looking to be the aggressor, at least initially, in the ZvZ. Lings have arrived. This is going to be spotted by Fjant. Oh, he does bleed out a couple of his own Lings. He's going to be forced back home. And should be making a couple of Banelings defensively. As Solar, it looks like he only made Lings, enough of them at least, to defend, to actually deflect the army of Fjant. And he's going back to droning. He's chilling. Oh, for the most part, he's chilling. Oh. As both players are droning up, we have Roach Warrens on the way, Evo Chambers as well. Solar is going for a bit of a run by, and he's looking for a drone. It looks like he will find one. Picks up a worker, avoids the Banelings, and gets out of there. Oh, he's even able to take this fight as well. So a really good run by Solar. Likewise, Solar's also delaying his Roach Warren as well. He's just, you know, producing as many drones as he can. Fjant, is this another all-in? As he is staying on a relatively low worker. Oh, that's why. I was like, why isn't he droning? He's supply blocked. Fjant just getting supply blocked, unfortunately. There we go. 7 drones are on the way. But we can see Fjant is down at 10 workers. Oh no! It's down 10 workers. Takes a Baneling to the face as well. Oh, likewise, so does Solar. A better trade for Fjant. And again, he needed a better trade just because of that supply block earlier. Now, despite that, he does have a faster lair on the way. Can get into faster roach speed as well. But as he gets into faster roach speed, Solar, he is done droning. He has saturated his 3 bases. He's already got roaches in production, and he's moving out across the map. He is moving out, and at least until the roaches pop, it's all going to come down to the Baneling control, to the Baneling micro of our players. So far, Solar just going to be backing off for a moment. And yeah, it looks like he was just mainly posturing. His roaches are kept at home instead. But once again, Fjant is down in workers. Once again, Fjant still has some catching up to do. As Solar is fully saturated on 3 bases. Just well into roach production at this point. And the roaches are confirmed by Fjant. He hasn't scouted the main, so if there was any kind of weird tech switch, then Fjant wouldn't be aware of it. Speaking of, Solar is scanning the main base. He wants to make sure there's no Spire, no Hydroden. Solar is checking. Likewise, so is Fjant. He's dipping in with his own overseer. So, good scouts from both players. Unfortunately, you can see a really large disparity in the supplies, and even though like Fjant hasn't lost a lot of workers, neither has Solar. The reason for this is just because of all the supply blocks. Like Fjant, it took him a lot longer to drone up. It took him a lot longer to saturate his 3rd base, to saturate his bases in general. He's just now taking his 6th gas. Something that Solar has had for a long time. Bailey Rumbai does get 7 workers. Is going to even things up. But Solar has still been just mining more for longer. And he has a massive supply lead. Up. Good baling connections. But it's about the roaches. And Solar has 35 roaches to the 20 of Fjant. Now, despite that disparity, pushing up this ramp is going to be difficult. Fjant does have the high ground. He has a concave. And Solar, he doesn't like his chance. He pulls back. Okay, Solar, he does respect that position. He does pull back. He's just re-scouting his opponent, making sure that there is still no Spire or Hydroden. Or tech of any kind. Checking the upgrades. It looks like Solar, he wants to wait for 2-1 to kick in. And Fjant has caught up. But he's catching up. He's still on his way. Oh, pushing up this ramp though. I'm not too fond of that idea. Oh. Yes, Fjant. I don't know if he really picked the wisest of fights here. As we do see Solar just pushing down the ramp. Taking down a big chunk of those roaches. Despite taking a bile to the face. Solar has the defender's advantage. 6 more drones did go down. So Fjant is doing a really good job at distracting Solar and like slipping in with some run-bys. But Solar's macro is still on another level. Fjant, did he see the burrow? Oh my god. I think he did. That's impressive. He's aware of the tunneling claw roaches. But just because he's aware doesn't mean he can defend. And here we go. The army has arrived. Fjant is out of position. He split up his army to try to defend against the burrowed roaches. And the 4th is almost going down. Yeah, the run-bys are upon us. Yeah, the 4th is going to get sniped. It's going to be a costly trade here. All these roaches are going to fall for Solar, but at the same time, we have another run-by over towards the left-hand side. Again, Fjant having a hard time keeping up. He's just forced into his push. Again, he's going to catch some of these roaches, so Fjant has a bit of momentum going his way, just because Solar has been bleeding out quite a lot of units recently. Solar, he's also up in workers, which means that Fjant has a super maxed army. He has a higher army supply. He has more roaches. After losing that 4th base, like, he's pretty committed here. He has to make this work. We are even in upgrades, but with the defender's advantage, Solar, he just has to buy time. Yeah, more roaches are on the way. Solar, he is going to be able to force this back. We have a couple more roaches coming in for Fjant. To be fair, he's getting on top of the Ravagers. He was getting on top of the Ravagers, but again, there's still just too much. The defender's advantage is too good, and Solar does hold on. And Fjant is down 10 workers. He's just now getting his 4th up and running. A 4th that Solar has been happily mining from for quite some time. Now Fjant is on the back foot. Again, a lot of the momentum that Solar has this game is just from the early to mid game. Again, just from all the supply blocks, just Solar just being able to drone up harder and just more quickly. It's really showed off here. Here as well as Solar is snowballing out of control. He is maxed out at this point. He's collapsing on the army. He even has a couple of roaches coming in behind the forces of Fjant, slipping into the natural. Again, really nice moves with the bailing run-bys earlier by Fjant. I know we missed some of them on the camera, There were some nice moves. Alas, it is not going to be enough. We have roaches in the natural. We have roaches in the main. GG gets called, and Solar will take the series 2-0, taking down Fjant. GG. Well played. A good effort by Fjant. A good effort. He didn't look too bad against Solar, even though, of course, Solar took the series 2-0. There were moments. There were good moments for Fjant nonetheless. Hope he's able to take from that. Hope he's able to take from that series. Well played, Lappy. Well played. And yeah, of course, Solar is coming in as the favorite player and was looking quite powerful in that series, in that ZvZ. And yeah, again, he's one of the favorite players to make it out of this group as well. But we have one series left. We have one series left to cover. I was only going to cover 5 series today, but we'll squeeze in a 6th. We'll squeeze in a 6th. Just because a lot of these matches have been actually really fast. Been a lot of fast games. So I'm more than happy to have one more best of 3. And it is going to be a PvP.